Yesterday was the 6th anniversary of the controversial decision to demonetize the high-end currency notes. Remember, on 8th November 2016 at 8 p.m., our Prime Minister had announced to the nation that rupees 500 and 1000 currency notes would cease to be legal tender with effect from that midnight, barely 4 hours after his declaration. Remember the long queues in front of the ATMs that night to withdraw money before midnight struck. You can also recollect the chaos that prevailed for days, rather weeks on end, when the ATMs were empty and banks were not in a position to sell out the required money as they themselves were short of cash, and queues outside for withdrawing cash were miles long. What is the cost-benefit analysis of this momentous decision on that fateful night? Flushing 86% of currency notes out of the bank vaults was a hugely disruptive decision that shattered the informal economy, which was based on cash transactions. But what benefits did this controversial decision bring to the table? The Prime Minister, while addressing the nation on that fateful night, November 8, 2016, had outlined 3 major outcomes of this move. First, and the most important one, and the other 2 followed from that, was that this move would extricate the illegitimate money out of the system. How, you may ask? The thinking was that those in possession of huge amounts of black money would be forced to come out in the open. In the intervening 6 weeks period, to exchange it for new legal notes. In that case, they would have to pay a penalty and the due income tax on that ill-gotten wealth, apart from facing criminal cases. The only alternative for them, as per the government's understanding, was that the hoarders of black money would give up on the huge pile of cash that they had stashed away in order to avoid going to jail. Officials of the Finance Ministry, while defending the demonetization decision, had said that time that this one move would bring a windfall gain of about 4 to 5 lakh crore to the Indian exchequer. How? The RBI would have no liability for the forfeited black money, and that would translate into a one-off spectacular dividend award by the RBI to the government of India. But those in RBI and the Union Finance Ministry who advised the Prime Minister to embark on this decision perhaps had not read the RBI's own report about the black money that had said the following: that those with huge black money do not keep it in cash form. The black money is invested in cell companies, in the real estate, and in luxury travels. A maximum of 6% is kept in liquid form for contingencies. How insightful that RBI report was. By not reading it, the advisors put the Prime Minister in an embarrassing position. When there was a clamor for knowing how much of the 15 lakh odd crore currency notes which were declared illegal returned to the banks, RBI fought shy to give the figure, as that would put the Prime Minister in a very false position. The RBI was possibly advised to brazen it out and not to reveal the figures. But after several weeks, the then RBI Governor, Urjit Patel, had pangs of conscience. He told the world that more than 99% of the demonetized currency notes had returned to the bank vaults. Many presume that the declaration cost the then RBI Governor Urjit Patel his job. Anyway, the 1% that did not return to the bank was certainly not the black money. It was small amounts of the money of the individual household, which could not be exchanged in the bank during that period due to varying circumstances. We read newspaper reports about how many Nepali families holding the Indian currencies were stuck with it because they did not find it convenient or even economical to come to India to exchange them during those 6 weeks. That was the same story about many Indians living in other countries. We read stories about Indian Army Jawans who had kept currency notes for their parents in the trunks in their ancestral home, but they did not get leave to come home to exchange them in the bank. Their parents were unable to do so because of their old age. I myself was stuck with 4 1,000 rupee notes, which I discovered much later after the deadline for the exchange was over. Same must have been the case with hundreds and thousands of people of our own country. That accounts for that 1% that did not return to the bank. What does this whole story tell us? That the Prime Minister's clarion call to end the black money in one fell swoop fell flat. Either there was no black money in the system, or this misadventure of demonetization turned the entire black money into white. The second probability was stronger. The hoarders of the black money succeeded in gaming the system and used brokers and bribed bank managers to convert their illegitimate into legitimate money. What is the inevitable conclusion that we come to? That the intention of the government was noble, that it is necessary to rid the system of the parallel economy, but the means devised to achieve it was misconceived. the very idea of demonetization to achieve that goal, and even the manner in which that was executed and the follow-up actions were rolled out had disastrous consequences for the nation. In this process, the rich did not suffer. The poor, who constitute the 90% of the labor force in the informal economy and who are dependent on cash for day-to-day existence, had to bear the brunt. On this cost-benefit analysis, India ought to have taken different measures to tackle the menace of black money instead of taking a hugely disruptive decision like demonetization. What those alternative measures could have been is a subject we will discuss another day.